Almost Christian. This is a book that Jerry mentioned last week in his message, and it's written by a Princeton professor, I believe, who is looking at the national study of youth and religion. And the reason why I make mention of this is because we're looking this week at the passage where Jesus for the third time tells his disciples that he's going to the cross. And here in Mark chapter 10 verses 32 to 45, he's much more explicit about what his torture and his death will look like. And I think he does this because he wants his disciples, who are still pretty numb to the fact that this Messiah is going to be a suffering Messiah. He feels the need to take them aside to be able to clarify exactly what is about to happen. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention because what we're finding today, no surprise to us, is that lots of our young people are making a mass exodus out of our churches. They realize that faith is still something that is important, but it's like an extracurricular activity, just as important as sports or music, but not integral or consequential or important enough to be a central part of their lives. And so I encourage you as you look at this, we're going to be doing a message back and forth. Brian Cunningham, who served here as a Ministry Inquiry Program member, intern, back in 2008, will be sharing this message with me. And what we'd like to encourage you to do is to be able to just really talk together as a class. We've titled our sermon, Are You Experienced? To say, what does it mean to actually experience following Christ? Not just have an intellectual faith where we say we believe something, but where our world, the way we do church, the way we live our lives is changed because of who we say we are and who we follow. So we're going to walk through three different experiences that are marks of the disciple. The experience of suffering, the experience of following Christ in surrender, and also the experience of sympathy. And we would love for you to be able to wrestle with these issues in your classes, to take some time to look at the text and say, what does it mean for us to suffer today? We certainly don't live in a land like North Korea where being a Christian is something that could be life-threatening. And then what does it mean to really surrender in a culture where having our way, using our authority, is something that's taken for granted? And then finally, how do we really experience sympathy where we think about others, where we look and walk in their shoes and seek to show the love of Christ? So as you look at those, I encourage you to look at the text, see the struggle that the disciples are going through, how these two disciples, James and John, take Jesus aside asking for special privileges in the kingdom that's coming, and how the disciples, the other 10, become indignant or angry with them because of the fact that they're asking for these special privileges, and how that sometimes reflects us and our motives for following Jesus, how we sometimes are in it because of something that's for us. So I encourage you then, as you look at the application for what to work through or what to have people think through as far as what to take away from this, is to then be able to say, how do we remind ourselves daily that we are Christ's representatives? That perhaps myself as a pastor, the way I live this out is no more important than the way you do in the places that you go. That you're a minister as well. And also, how do you show God's love to people? By looking at the way Jesus loved in the Gospels. And finally, how do you do community and service in a way that is flowing out of your schedule, a priority in your life? So that as we look at discipleship, we really are living it out, not just talking the talk. So I encourage you with your class. I hope it goes well.